Okay. Hey, what's happening, everyone? I am the Dragon God of Gaming, Damian Dragon, and welcome back to another episode of the Gaming News, where I run the list of all the gaming news, facts, rumors, trivias, and everything coming up the gaming industry this week. And today, we're speaking on a topic that a lot more people should be talking about, and that is the legal owning of your gaming. So, I'm just going to play something in the background while we watch and just have fun. So, first off, this is coming from PCGamer.com. This is written by Tyler Wilde. And they write, gamers seek a legal win that would stop developers from rendering online games unplayable. It is an assault on both consumer rights and preservation of media. The organizer of Stop Killing Games hopes to get France and other governments to examine the legality of live service shutdowns. I agree. So, let's get started, shall we? Ubisoft pulled the plug on The Crew this month, rendering a 10-year-old racing game unplayable due it is to server infrastructure and licensing constraints. It's hardly the first time an online game has been sent to a farm upstate by a publisher that neither wants to continue supporting it nor offer players a way to play it offline or on private servers. But rather than accept the status quo, YouTuber Ross Scott is putting up a fight, yes sir. Scott has launched a new website, Stop Killing Games, to rally opposition to the games industry, assault on both consumer rights and preservation of media, as he puts it. And I'm also going to put a link to his website down in the description down below as well. I had also taken my action by spreading the word on social media. I put it up as well. So, yeah. With The Crew as its prime example, the campaign directs consumers from around the world to sign petitions and submit complaints to regulatory bodies such as the DGCCRF, France's Consumer Protection Agency. The basic legal argument is that video games are goods rather than services, regardless of the terminology game publishers may use, and goods shouldn't be rendered inoperable by the seller after we buy them. Exactly. The most obvious legal defense for publishers is that when we buy games digitally these days, we're actually buying a conditional license to play the game, with the main condition being the license can be revoked for any reason. Steam's subscriber agreement is explicit about this, saying that the games we buy are licensed, not sold. But if put in front of judges, those agreements won't necessarily hold up in every court, argues Scott. It'd be hard to get a favorable judgment in the US, but the hope of the campaign is that if one country, such as France, decides that publishers have to find a way to keep their games playable indefinitely, the industry will adopt new practices globally. Scott isn't asking developers to operate game servers until the heat death of the universe, suggesting a compromise. When a developer has decided to stop supporting a game, it should furnish owners with some way to keep playing. Usually that'd be private server support, with the understanding that some features may be lost in the transition, which I agree with. There are a number of cases of unsupported online games being kept alive by players, with or without help from the original developer or publisher. Earlier this year, for example, NCSoft gave an official license for a fan-run City of Heroes server, which had unofficially been keeping the defunct MMO game going. At a GDC talk last month, Valin Studios Director of Marketing Josh Harrison urged developers to make a plan for the inevitable day they stop supporting their online games, and said that the best thing they can do is to give players private servers, as Valon did when it ended support for its competitive dodgeball game Knockout City, which, again, me and the boys have played in the past. The Stop Killing Games campaign is having mixed success so far. Scott tells PC Gamer he's seeing lots of complaints about the crew being filed, estimated from emails he's received, but he's been frustrated by the slow process of getting government petitions approved. None of them are open for signing yet, despite being submitted 3 weeks in advance of the campaign's launch. which I plan to sign as well. As it stands, I'm optimistic at least one department of the French government will examine the legality of this practice, and with fingers crossed, possibly French court action and further examinations from Germany and Australia, Scott said. Everything else is still up in the air at the moment. Scott has been banging this drum for a while. In 2019, he posted a lengthy video on his YouTube channel, which I really think you guys should watch. I will actually leave a link to Scott Ross's YouTube channel down in the description down below of this very gaming news video as well. As just go checking him out, because he has very good insight into this, in which he argued that the whole idea of games as service is phony, a way for developers to avoid the responsibility of keeping their games playable after the end of official support. His new video introduction to the Stop Killing Game campaign has accrued about 200,000 views at the time of writing. Ubisoft declined to comment on the campaign. Of course he did. Of course they did. Now, I've been actually looking as well, and I'm not going to be doing all the steps because, again, I don't have that much time here, but I suggest that any of you who really do enjoy, I think the best thing I can personally do is make people aware of this, is, yes, literally take action. I can understand what they're trying to say. Hey, no one expects people to keep a game operable forever. And I can understand that, but giving players ways to keep their games or their games running should be provided if you're not going to support it. I played City of Heroes, and they have a dedicated fan base. I loved City of Heroes, and I stopped playing a long time ago, but the game deserved to live on, and that is living on through private servers, because they were given a license to do so by the developers. I don't see why developers aren't doing all this. And it's sad that a lot of the games that we purchase are being made inoperable because they don't want to do them no more. But it's also something like, Moist Critical, some ordinary gamers have said in the past before. If you buy the game, it should be yours. If I purchase a game, it should belong to me. And if you make a live service game, then I'd say you should keep it operable. And if you feel like you're done giving official support to this game and you're trying to move on to something else, okay, give fans a way to keep that game going. You don't need to, but people like companies like Ubisoft, which I have been, and I don't care if I've been, supported by Ubisoft before or given access to different things for Ubisoft before. It doesn't matter to me. But what does matter to me is the gaming culture in general, and I can say this without a shadow of a doubt. Ubisoft needs to learn their fucking lessons, because if a game is bought by a player, it should stay with the player. I have my hands currently on, let's say, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I have this game. I bought it. It is mine. I don't feel like the game should ever be inoperable because I paid for it. I bought Pokemon Sword. I have the physical copy of the game in my possession. If I paid money to own it, whether digitally or not, it should not be rendered inoperable at all. And places like Nintendo, taking games and basically sticking a knife in them, like ROM emulation and everything else, I can understand. Barely. But if they're not doing no harm and they bought the games and it's being put up so people can download, that should not be Nintendo's problem. If you're not gonna take your back catalog of games and make it, accessible to everyone else after, then it should not be a problem when someone else does it. Because we love the games that everyone puts out, but it's seeming like the companies refuse to acknowledge it. Look, I can understand why some games need to go the way of Old Yeller. And if you feel like, okay, you need to move on from games, there should be a way to be able to play those games now. If you buy it online, it should not matter. If it's on your fucking drive, if it's on your PlayStation and you bought it, there should be no reason why you cannot play it now. You see what I mean? And that's the whole crux of the issues here. Games are being rendered inoperable or unplayable because it's just, nope, I didn't want to continue supporting it. So, nope, it's dead now. You can't play it no more. Bye-bye. See ya. If you paid $70 to play my game, it doesn't matter no more. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Because I think I really do agree with Scott. He says, and I quote, "Games aren't a service. They're goods." And you're right. They are goods. Why? Because we buy them. We pay for them. A service is like saying, I would say a service is when you provide like PlayStation Plus or Nintendo Online. That is service. Because you're providing the means of playing the games. Right? You're providing a platform for older gen games. That's a service. You're providing the platform to play on. But if I go into a GameStop and I buy a game, it's a good. Why? Because I went in, I paid full price for this one thing. I bought it, it should belong to me. It belongs to me. If I'm paying for a service, which is like PS Plus, if I'm paying for the service, that's a service. You're providing things for me. But if I'm going out and buying a game, that's a good. Like if I go to the store and I buy a fucking apple, the apple is mine now. If I want to hook it at my fucking garage door, I'll be able to hook it at my garage door. The store cannot now say that I owe them for that apple. I paid you already, that's it. And this is where this whole problem starts escalating. Because I don't know where you guys define goods from services, but what I define it is, if I go, let's say, to Disneyland, they're maintaining everything here. They're maintaining it. The rides. The food in their park. You're providing me a service. You allow me to come in. Because you own the land. You own the property that this is on. You're providing a service for me. Or, again, like I said, PS Plus or Nintendo Online. You're offering me a service that goes along with the console. That without it, would not be on that console. Got you. But if I go to a store, and let's say I buy some cereal, that's a good. I bought it. It belongs to me. I went to a store, I bought it, and it's mine now. General Mills can't look at me and say, because we produced it means that you now owe us this, and this. No. Or that we can deem that it's no longer good, so that you can't eat it no more. No. If I went to a store and I bought something. Let's say I bought a shirt from fucking The Gap. The Gap can now say, and I quote, "It's out of fashion now. You can't wear that no more." Yes, the fuck I can. I can wear this in 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 40, 45, 50 years. Why should games be the same thing? If I bought it from the store, or I bought it using my money, and the game is already made, the game's already done, you're not operating anything, you're not keeping anything alive. If we paid for an ongoing thing, because I think I'm getting a little bit misconstrued myself. More of a service is a made service. If I pay them to keep on coming back and for them to do something for me, that's a service. But if I go out and I buy it and I'm the one maintaining the product or how good the product is, that's a good. So if I buy something from a store, it's good. If I buy something with my money on a digital storefront and I pay for it, it is mine. I paid for it. You can't decide that, we no longer want you to have it. No, that's not how that works. If I paid money for it and you want it back, oh well. That's kind of the crux of my issues. So you see where everything stands here, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that Ross Scott, my bad. I keep on getting his name wrong, my bad. But I think it is that shit like this happens. Well, what do you guys think? But I think he'll say it a lot more better than me. So I'll leave the link to his stuff down in the description down below. But until next time, I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you guys so much. Let me know down in the comment section below what you guys think, and I hope everyone enjoyed. If you guys have not yet, go down in the description down below. There's all of our lovely and beautiful content creators. Go check them all out. They are a lovely bunch of coconuts, and I can guarantee you that if you guys like my stuff, you guys are going to like theirs. So go check them out. And let me know what you guys think. So with that, thank you guys so much. And I appreciate you guys' time. But until next time, peace. Thank you guys so much. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, friendos.